A lot of people say that community gardens are only for yuppies or retired folks who want local organic food. I used to say that, but community gardens can, in fact, be a source of nourishment for everyone in a number of important ways. I can attest to this personally. During my graduate studies in Massachusetts, I organized a shared garden with my neighbors, including a family from Kenya. Grandma Kenya, as I like to call her, would always wave and smile, but that was the extent of our interaction. One day, she approached me in the garden with hands on her hips, speaking to me in Swahili. Confused, I looked to her granddaughter, who translated, "Grandma said she's gonna kick your butt in growing tomatoes this year." I was shocked. Is this little frail lady really challenging me? I said, "Okay, Grandma, bring it on." This started out as a friendly competition, but as the summer went on and we continued to share a wonderful harvest, it became more about sharing and friendship. Despite the language barrier that existed between us, this garden gave us a reason to connect and work together. I truly believe that community gardens can be a powerful tool for community development. In fact, I believe this so much that I took a huge leap of faith, left a secure job to pursue community development through gardening. I now take a more hands-on approach to improving the well-being of my community. Yeah, in San Diego, we have gardens in places we least expect, providing unrecognized forms of nourishment. These gardens are inherently building community in a very natural and organic way. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these community garden projects that are happening right here in San Diego and nourishing our very own communities. As we go, I really encourage you to think about your understanding of community gardening. So a friend and colleague of mine, Farmer Roy, started an intergenerational therapeutic garden where young and old grow food together. Beyond just providing food, this garden provides an opportunity to feel a renewal of spirit, the kind that you can only feel in sharing in the joy and amazement of a child. One of my favorite activities to share with elderly and children are releasing ladybugs in the garden. Their faces light up with so much joy as the ladybugs leave the carton and begin crawling up their arms. All you hear are uncontrollable giggles. And what would it look like if gardens were used to provide another opportunity for youth in the juvenile justice system? Samantha, a teen who ran away at 13 and had a baby at 14, started as an intern setting up backyard gardens for an organization called Second Chance. Now, because of those skills she gained, she has a paid position working with the San Diego Seed Company. That's what community gardens look like when they're used for restorative justice, community building, and in this case, economic justice. One of my favorite experiences working with kids was when I taught some fifth graders about healthy soil and the earthworm. I told them, think about the earthworm as the underground farmer, because while you're busy working hard in the classroom, they're working hard in the garden to create healthy soil. The following week I said, who can identify the bug that cares for the soil? The kids proudly blurted out, the underground farmer. And then one kid reached down and grabbed a handful of wiggly worms and said, hey, look guys, they're breakdancing. And then all of a sudden, all the kids started breakdancing. Now that's my niece looking like a superhero with her first carrot. That's what schoolyard gardens are all about. Nothing's more rewarding than the moment you turn around and you catch a child, pop a cherry tomato in their mouth, and he wouldn't try a vegetable earlier. Then there's Victory Gardens, who's working hard to eradicate food deserts in San Diego. Did you know that in some places, the closest thing some people have to fresh food is a banana from the local 7-Eleven? Victory Gardens is changing that by providing communities with hands-on training for growing food locally. And who's heard of sharecrop gardening? So the Wheelocks have lots of tomatoes, and Carrie's growing lots of avocados. So what do they do with all this food? They share their harvest. Under a CSA program called Good Neighbor Gardens, they essentially become neighbors feeding neighbors. So as you can see, community gardens provide much more than just physical nourishment. In collaborating with others to grow food, nourishment takes on a whole new meaning. If I told you I was growing food in a community garden, what would you think of? A large plot with individual spaces? I would like for us to focus more on the community aspects rather than the physical garden. That's why I like the term collaborative gardening, the process of collectively growing food to improve the well-being of our community. When we think of gardens this way, we realize their importance in growing community. So what can you do to support community gardens in San Diego? You can support progressive urban agriculture legislation, such as AB 551, which incentivizes landowners to create more space for growing food. You can share and eat homegrown food, you can donate, or you can volunteer. So for a list of resources, please visit my Facebook page. Also, I'm happy to say that there's a number of folks in this audience who are just as excited and passionate about this topic as me, so look for them. They'd love to talk to you. Look for the badges that say, Way to Grow San Diego. Thank you.